Tropical Weather Bulletin number 74, it's January the 11th, 2014, and we currently have two named cyclones out there right now. First of all, Ian in the southern Pacific, right over Tonga right now, as a Category 4 cyclone, and we also have Cyclone Colin, which is a tropical storm equivalent in the central part of the Indian Ocean right now, not affecting any land areas. We also have three invests out there, Invest 91W in the western Pacific, and two invests in the southern Indian Ocean. First of all, looking at the invest in the western Pacific, 91W, in between Palau and the southern part of the Philippines now, and it's heading over that area. Quite a large mass of cloud at the moment, could be producing heavy rain, and that's likely to continue over the next few days if models are to be believed. But the storm's moving slowly towards the west-northwest right now. The eastern Pacific Ocean, we don't usually see anything going on at this time of year, but you do get the odd storm that forms perhaps in the central part of the ocean and moves into the western Pacific quite quickly, but nothing of that nature occurring right now. Moving to our next area, the southern Pacific Ocean. Ian's on your right there, moving through the Tongan Islands right now as it moves towards the southeast as an intense cyclone. More on that in a moment. Invest 94S hanging off the northern tip of Australia, the top end area in the Northern Territories, and that's likely to possibly move over towards the southwest and possibly affect the northern coast of Australia with heavy rain. We have Colin and 93S in the southern Indian Ocean, the former likely to move towards the southwest and intensify, the latter not likely to develop into a tropical cyclone. It's pretty far south already, beyond 30 degrees south of Madagascar. Sea surface temperatures right now, this is the southern Pacific first of all. Towards the left hand side you would find Ian. Sea surface temperatures where Ian is right now, hovering around 28 to 29 degrees Celsius, possibly 30 in one or two areas around, maybe further to the north to where Ian is right now, so probably won't be taking advantage fully of that. In the Australian region, that the Invest 94S is certainly going to be taking advantage of that warm waters that are hanging off the coast of Australia, 28 to 30 degrees Celsius or higher, possibly even as high as 32 degrees, not too far from the coastline, but certainly warm waters all around there for any storms that form there. The southern Indian Ocean, or the whole of the Indian Ocean as you can see here, the hot spot there is towards the central part of the ocean, just towards the west or southwest of where Colin is right now, so it could be taking advantage of those 30-degree waters over the next few days as it intensifies. That's certainly on the forecast. More on that in a moment. But first of all, let's take a look at Cyclone Ian, a Category 4 cyclone on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, an intense storm, 140 miles per hour right now, and a pressure of 933 millibars. Its current position is 18.9 degrees south, 174.8 degrees west, and the storm's expected to move towards the southeast as a Category 4 cyclone initially, possibly even intensifying at first into 145 miles per hour, maybe even more than that if it really gets its act together, but weakening is then on the cards after it leaves Tonga, and then will eventually dissipate or turn post-tropical as it moves far towards the southeast out to sea, away from any other land areas. But Tonga right now will probably be receiving the full effects of the storm, or at least part of those islands will. We have a hurricane warning in effect for Vavau and Ha'apai island groups, and we have a gale warning for Tonga Tapu further south where the capital is located, and further north for the rest of Tonga we have a strong wind warning, but certainly we're going to be seeing inclement conditions across the whole of the islands. Certainly going to see some intense wind speeds, heavy rain of course occurring as well. The storm's been stalling towards the northwest, we could be seeing some flooding, but winds gusting above 140 miles per hour. Elsewhere we have Tropical Cyclone Colin, of course. Winds is 50 miles per hour right now, pressure's 989 millibars. Its position right now is 14.0 degrees south, 82.0 degrees east, and that puts it just to the southeast of Diego Garcia, but way out to sea away from any other land areas. The storm's expected to move towards the southwest, gradually intensifying along the way, and we could be seeing the storm become a Category 1 cyclone on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale in the next 24 hours, maybe a little bit later than that. We'll see how it goes over the next few days. We could be seeing some intensification at least to 90 miles per hour over the next few days, so we could possibly see a bit more intensification to a Category 2 cyclone as it heads towards the south and then eventually curves towards the southeast and turns post-tropical, you'd imagine, as it moves pretty far south beyond 30 degrees by the looks of it towards the end of its life. This is the shear tendency map right now. This is the Indian Ocean. You can see Colin marked by the cyclone symbol. under an area of light shear right now, but you can see how it's heavy to the south in particular. That's most important because that's where the storm's headed. You can see, and it's increasing as well, so at the moment it's not looking too great for the storm as it heads towards the southwest, and that will probably explain how it will be intensifying fairly gradually. But if that shear subsides, the warm sea surface temperatures will certainly mean that the storm can intensify much quicker. And this is the current situation with Ian. You can see shear ahead of it, at least in the immediate vicinity, is fairly low and decreasing, but towards the south, as it clears Tonga in the next 2 or 3 days, it will begin to increase, and rather rapidly as well. So the storm will probably tear itself apart very quickly as it heads towards those more southerly latitudes beyond 20 degrees south, for instance, and as it heads towards the southeast, it will certainly disintegrate rather quickly by the looks of things if things remain the same there. The Western Pacific right now, where that invest is, there is some high shear, there's some low shear just to the south of that, so it's looking fairly mixed, but at the moment shear is certainly moderate, so the storm will have a little bit of trouble intensifying, at least over the next few days, with land interaction obviously interfering with any development that occurs. But we could be seeing quite a rain event occurring over the Philippines. Certainly what the models are depicting, one of the models certainly depicts something along those lines. We'll come on to that very shortly. You can see to its east now, still a lot of dry air hanging about, some of it rather intense levels of dry air to the east of the Mariana Islands, the northern Micronesian Islands. But you can see the moisture over the southern Philippines extending further north as well now, mainly caused by the Invest 91W moving over the Philippines, the worst of it right now. Here's Cyclone Ian, and you can see a well-defined eye there moving towards the southeast, maybe a little bit more of a southward element than east right now. But the storm's a fairly compact one, as you can see here, against the Tongan Islands there. Very small islands indeed. The main one is towards the far south there, which the storm probably won't be affecting too badly. But those islands there are inhabited as well, so we could be seeing some intense conditions occurring along those islands, in the eye wall of course. And it's a rather intense one by the looks of things too. 140 mile/hour winds of course, which means stronger gusts as well, possibly up near Category 5 intensity, so certainly something to be hunkered down for. The southwestern Indian Ocean, this is what the models say right now. You can see Colin emerging on your right hand side there, moving towards the southwest, basically what the forecast is calling for, and then dipping towards the southeast towards the end of that model run there. Looks like it isn't going to be particularly intense, pretty much what the models are suggesting, Category 1, possibly Category 2. The South Pacific has Ian weakening rather rapidly once it leaves Tonga. You can see it moving towards the bit more towards the south there, and then being carried away towards the southeast, quite far away from any land areas, and then out towards those more southerly latitudes, and as a post-tropical cyclone. The North Indian and Western Pacific Ocean, mainly the Western Pacific of interest at the moment. The Invest 91W lingering around Mindanao and then moving into that area of water towards its west and hanging around there, possibly intensifying a little bit before moving towards the northeast. Not very decided along its route, which means there could be a lot of flooding in the southern and central parts of the Philippines. The predicted season scores as of January the 11th: in first place Monsoon with 4 points, Mudkip in second with 52, and Zach in third with 62. This is our competition where you can submit your own storm totals and see how well you do. The lowest score is the best score this year. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the new format, it's been reversed basically. The lowest score now is the best score. 25 entrants to date. Why don't you become the 26th? You can do that on the website force13.com/interactive.html, and there you can click the 2014 Predictor Season button, and it should be fairly clear how you do it from there. So what happened on this day on January the 11th in the Northern Hemisphere? In 2003, Tropical Storm Yan Yan formed in the Western Pacific. There it is pictured at the bottom of your screen there. Of course, the On This Day feature doesn't cover Southern Hemisphere storms at this moment, but that will probably change not too long from now. Obviously, it's fairly important to stick the Southern Hemisphere events on there too, but I've not had much time to do the research recently. You can track any storm that forms out there on the website force13.com/stormtracking.html is the main page for all the storm tracking information. It gives you the overview map, similar to the one you see at the very start of this video, where all the storms are located with basic warning information and intensity information as well. And from there you can click through to each individual region for a bit more information on whichever area takes your interest. So that might be, for instance, where Ian is right now. It posts all the warning information up there as well as the storm's intensity. You can also find us on our social mediums, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Just search Force 13 on either of those. You're probably using one of them to see this right now. Please do show your support, it is very much appreciated at this end. And if you wish to send a direct comments to me, you can do so by YouTube private message or through the website's contact form feature. Which is on the website. Just press the contact button and fill in the form and it will go straight to me and I'll answer back as quick as I can. Those of you who are looking out for things not storm related in this sense, in the forecasting sense, but in past seasons sense or in hypothetical seasons, those will be uploaded very soon. In the next week or so we'll be seeing some new videos going up, so please do be patient. It has indeed been quite a while now since the last proper videos came out, apart from these forecasts. But the next update on this, the next tropical weather bulletin rather, will be coming through tomorrow. That will be the 12th of January 2014 at around 1 AM UTC. That's all for now.